Welcome, and hello to Dragon Age 201, your spoilery guide to the world of Dragon Age. I'm Ghil, your lore archivist, and today I'm going to help you quickly understand the basics of magic in Thedas. Please keep in mind that if you have not played the games before and want to play the entire series, you will want my Dragon Age 101 video over the same content linked below. The Fade, or the Beyond as the elves call it, is the land of dreams and magic, located in what I would describe as another dimension, although it's not quite said like that in the game. The Fade is held back from the real world by the Veil, an invisible force that repels the Fade. However, the Veil is not perfect. It can grow thin and even tear, letting loose spirits, demons, and other magical energies into the waking world. We learned in Dragon Age Inquisition that the Fade and the waking world used to be one, and that the Veil was created by the Dread Wolf, or Solus as we know him, to try and stop the Evanuris. Now, from what, we don't quite understand at this time. The Veil would sunder Elvenon, as we have seen in the Vir Thara. Since so many structures were made by magic, buildings were split in half, with some parts in the waking world and some in their own bubbles of reality. Let's loop back a bit to talk about spirits. Spirits and demons are two sides of the same coin, and depending on who you're talking to, there really isn't a difference between them. Both are creatures formed from emotions with a singular sense of duty to one idea which it acts on. Some spirits are more powerful than others, like those of pride, who are more intelligent and cunning, while others are weak, like the tiny wisps that carry the smallest whisper of a feeling and can do little more than float around. There are many of these beings who want to experience the waking world and try to cross over, either for power or for pure curiosity. Many of these spirits are harmed by this transition and will become twisted and crazed. More intelligent spirits will even try to possess mortals for the chance to live in the waking world, trying to trick them for their bodies. Others can get that concept, but not quite the idea, so you get possessed animals and trees instead. While spirits can be helpful and useful once bound to objects, they are dangerous and feared. The ability to use magic in Thedas is a unique gift, and those with it are called mages. Mages can be anyone except for the dwarves. Now, why is that? Well, simply put, the dwarves do not dream, and it's a person's connection to the land of dreams which allows them to use magic. Dwarves also have a slight resistance to magic for that reason. Now, the skill to perform magic varies from mage to mage. Some mages have such slight ability they are barely able to cast anything, while others can perform a wondrous act and find it as natural as breathing. However, magic is greatly feared in Thedas, and as such, most nations choose to keep a close eye on them. Most of southern Thedas put their mages in what is known as the Circle, and are watched over by the Chantry's Templars, knights who take Lyrium to repress magic. What is Lyrium? Give me just like 1 second, we have more on the circles to talk about, but while the concept of a circle isn't technically bad, in practice they end up being more like mage prisons. Now, I'm not going to waffle on about the circles here, because as of Dragon Age Inquisition, circles have changed dramatically. The problem is, how they have changed is not quite clear to us at this time, and depends on your choices even. No matter what, there are now two groups of mages, those loyal to the Chantry, who still call themselves the Circle, and those who belong to a more secular group called the College of Enchanters. There are also certain nations like Ravain and Navarra, which are a little looser on how their mages are treated, as they have local traditions that honor those with the gift of magic. It's unclear at this time what happens to mages who do not want to be part of either collection of mages, although one would assume that the centuries-old idea of apostates is hard to kill in a decade. The Qun also is harsh on their mages, even more so than the Chantry. They collar and chain their mages, even sewing their mouths shut to try and stop them from using any magic at all. While the Qun does still use magic for things like battle, they largely avoid its use in their culture. On the other hand are the Dalish elves, who choose a mage from their clan to be their keeper. The keeper of the clan leads them, helping them to collect bits of their culture and keep the old magic ways of the ancient elves alive in any way they can. However, some clans also have to live in nations with harsh magic laws, and will often abandon or trade other mages to different clans for their own safety. Now I'm going to quickly take a sidestep here to talk about some ancient elven magic. Alluvians. Alluvians themselves are a simple concept. They are mirrors that when activated turn into portals. However, they bring you into another realm, which we call the Crossroads, that you have to walk shorter distances through to get to another place in Thedas. The Crossroads are unusual. They are not the waking world, nor are they the Fade. They are their own bubble of reality, and one that is designed for elves in mind, causing minor side effects like headaches to humans who use them for prolonged periods. Then there is the Tevinter Imperium, the only nation which has a proud history of magic use and is ruled by mages. Most of Thedas fear Tevinter, however, if you are a magic user, it's the only place in the world where you have the chance to truly be free. Now let's jump back a bit to Lyrium. Lyrium is a bright blue, magical, crystalline substance that is formed deep underground and produces a slight hum. In its raw form, it's actually quite dangerous to mages and is known to cause a wealth of problems to those who are around it too much without proper protection. Even the Templars who ingest it have a shorter lifespan because of it and will grow weak and demented over time. However, the dwarves have a resistance to this and are the only ones able to mine it safely. Lyrium can be used to create magical effects, and it has its own magical properties outside of Fade-based magic. In Dragon Age Inquisition, we learn that Lyrium is actually the blood of a creature called the Titans, a massive being that has some connection to the dwarves. We have yet to really know that much about them, but at this time we were told that they are sleeping, and one awoke when the veil was ripped open during the events of the game. However, Lyrium and the Fade are not the only sources of magical power in Thedas. Magic powered by blood is a forbidden art in Thedas, and uses the life form of something living to create intensely powerful and unique spells. Some of the most dangerous and devastating spells are powered by blood magic. It's forbidden across Thedas, however, in places like Tevinter, they believe it to be more like a dangerous tool than morally objectionable. There is one last magical source in Thedas, however, although it's hard to use. Magic powered by the blight is said to act similar to blood magic, but not quite. In Dragon Age 2, the protagonist Hawk finds a strange idol made of red lyrium that has been tainted by the blight. It twists and grows from whatever it touches, corrupting all that it can in its wake. We don't know what the idol depicts or what it even does, but we do know that Solus has hunted it down and is now in possession of it. However, blight magic says a lot more about the blight than it does magic, so I'll have to end this here for today and see you next time when I expand more on the Scourge of Thedas. And that, my dear Delens, are the basics of magic in Thedas. If you'd like to learn more about certain subjects, I've linked a playlist below with more comprehensive videos on a wide variety of subjects mentioned here. So until next time, Taresh All.